This is our warrior cry to the world. We are not drowning, we are fighting.
Futuna, for many people, it's a rocky place. Sometimes people say that Futuna is the rockiest island in Vanuatu. But it's a nice place. When you walk around the island, we have rich soil on top of the rocks. But it's a place where we climb a lot of hills, mountains, and cliffs, including the ladders. We use the Futuna footpath as the main source of transport, so that's where we walk around the island.
The remote island of Futuna in Vanuatu has no cars, roads, or much cell phone service. For Isol, one of the first Pacific climate warriors, it's home. I've seen Isol fight for the community here at huge international conferences and protests.
Most people, they just sit and they wait. No, we are the front line of climate change. We need to be in the front. We need to be in the front to start building. The first action that I've participated in is in Newcastle. I think it was in 2014, where we built traditional canoes and brought it over to Australia and blockade one of the biggest coal mine port in Australia. One of the most reason why I decided to come back and spend most of my time here in Futuna is because I realized that we were talking about the scientific facts of climate change and all these important issues overseas, and big meetings are happening there. But my people, they don't have any idea of what we are doing, even though we represent them, but they don't have enough information of these changes. So I decided to come and tell them, sit with them.
Climate activists can sometimes fall into the trap of worrying so much about shouting to the world that we forget to talk to our people. Isol stopped attending conferences a few years ago and returned home permanently to help his community adapt to the increasing threat of climate-induced disasters.
We went to Notre Dame in France, and we went to Germany.
For years, I've been inspired by Isol's activism, and now I get to see its roots. Cyclones are the primary force shaping Futuna. The devastating toll they take, not just on Futuna Island, but across the Pacific region, is reaching unsustainable levels.
Recently, we were just hit by the twin cyclone, Cyclone Kevin and Cyclone Judy. All of a sudden, it just hit early in the morning. Oh man, all the people were shocked, they were silenced, man. No one wants to walk out the house because they feel like if they go to another house, someone might be dead. Both of them are Category 5, 2 days apart. The first in our history that we've received that twin cyclone.
Ni whakeiai, pe ata cyclone ni mai ni taime tia whare tangata. Ma ni taime tia rakau ma vere ma. Ni pena vipi tangata ngo poto ya kai. Ma ni hipe mo. Ma whare ni whasia whare tangata no fo sa.
Climate change has done a huge impact in Futuna. We've seen a lot of impacts on the root crops. There has been a lot of newborn diseases that were introduced, especially to the cassava. There's a lot of impacts in the ocean, corals dying, sea level rise. But the most impact from climate change here in Futuna is the landslide. During cyclones, during heavy rains, it pushes the soil erosions inland, and you can see there's a lot of changes, especially with the footpaths. This is the only access for communities, passing message to one village to another.
In order to survive this cyclone-prone island, the people of Futuna are learning how to rebuild their villages themselves. Walking is the only way to get around on the island, and the destruction of roads by Cyclone Kevin and Judy has made rebuilding these paths challenging.
Yeah, so what's happening now is the community from Mission Bay. So they're actually constructing the road, mainly cut the side of the road, because this is the usual landslide where after the cyclone, which is the main footpath connecting the village from Mission Bay to Herald Bay. They're constructing the road to make sure they have enough space for enough people to walk, and it's safe enough for people to walk, including students who walk over to the other side of the school.
That's not the only thing they're rebuilding. They are combining traditional practices with modern materials to strengthen their homes to withstand stronger cyclones.
Traditionally built homes, we call it the fare fa. They built traditionally, which is very low. So during cyclone, they can withstand the wind. You will be more safer than when you have a high house, because it can just, blew the roof out during the cyclone. Currently, we're like combining the materials, because some of the modern materials, they can withstand cyclones. Like we use cement, we use iron roof to replace some of the bamboo stuff. Because bamboo, when the cyclone comes, you just glue the bamboo straight out from your house. So now they're using iron sheet for wall as well.
Here we have our traditional knowledge or history about canoe. It's one of the knowledge that our ancestors passed down from generation. A household needs a canoe for his family. Normally we build this type of canoe because here it is a big sea, so we have to cut two pieces of wood where we join them together. In some part of the islands, you see them, they only build one, but on our island we use two because of the sea is very rough. Most of our canoe were damaged by the cyclone, so we have to rebuild new ones because these are only the main source of canoe that we bring our meat back or food security. So we want fish, we have to build canoes.
Food is also impacted during disasters, so the 6 different villages on Futuna have been practicing traditional food preservation techniques, reminding us to look to the past to survive in the present.
Climate change has been changing a lot of the environment, especially with traditional activities such as doing gardening, food preservation, also traditional fishing techniques as well. We're starting to lose some of these traditional ways of, doing things due to the impacts of climate change. Not just because of the weather, but it's also because we are losing some of the resources. Now for fishing, currently they're still practicing how they catch flying fish. They used to catch flying fish a long time before, so it's part of the culture. And they have like beliefs that flying fish are the fish that were put there by our ancestors. So whenever they, there's some practices from the past that belief is still there.